So here we are going to work with formulas. When they're shipping things, there's different ways that they calculate how big an object's going to be. Based on the size, they charge different amounts. And based on the weight, they charge different amounts. So here's a formula right here that we're going to use. I'll highlight it. L plus G, where L is the length of the longest side, and G stands for the girth, and girth is the distance around a package. So often what's going to happen is you're going to go out and someone's going to tell you this is what you need to use, and so they're going to give you a formula that you need to work with. Okay? This is probably a formula you've never heard of before and never used before. But you're given this and they say, can you use this to figure out this, the length plus the girth measurement? Here's a box. We've got our length, the longest side, is the 10, the 5, or the 18. 18 is the biggest number. What did I not say, though, when I told you those numbers? I said 10, 5, and 18. What didn't I tell you when I said 10, 5, and 18? Right now I'm just trying to find the length, the longest side. And I've got 10 here, 5 here, and 18 here. And if I just say the numbers, 18 is the biggest number. But if I look at the picture, the 18 doesn't look like the biggest thing. So is this just a poorly drawn picture?
Yes.
Or what haven't I said when I said those numbers? The units. Because if we look more closely, the 10 is 10 feet. The 5 is 5 feet, but the 18 is only 18 inches. And that 18 inches, if I wanted to write that in feet, so all my units are the same. And that's a strategy that you're going to use over and over again. If you're doing math and you're working with different units, you're not going to be able to solve things. So I'm going to take that 18 inches and I'm going to say 18 inches is the same as 1.5 feet. Because there's 12 inches in 1 foot. And then you have another 6 inches left over, which would be a half a foot. Now that I'm thinking of everything in feet, which is the longest side? Obviously, the 10 feet. How am I going to find the girth? So the girth will be around the package, and the girth goes around the package that it doesn't include the longest side. So we would have 5, that would be from here to here, plus 1.5, that would be going down from here to here, plus 5 again as it goes back, plus 1.5 again as it goes back up. 5 plus 5 plus 1.5 plus 1.5 will equal 13 feet. So what is the L plus G measurement, the length plus girth? Well, our length was 10, our girth was 13. And if we go 10 plus 13, we get 23 feet. That is part A. If we're going to part B, I'll just take this to another page. Now, we're not given a picture. So whenever they're talking about an object and you need to solve for it, and you're not given a picture, then you're going to have to draw one so that you can imagine it as best as possible. A steel shipping tube has a diameter of 1 meter and a height of 3.6 meters. So if you've never drawn a tube before, you start by drawing the top circle as an oval to give a three-dimensional look. Draw straight lines down, and then you can draw the same oval on the bottom, but if you want to do the lines at the back, you can do a dotted line to pretend that you can't see that part, and that's how you can draw a tube. So we know the diameter is 1 meter, so we draw a line across that circle, and we can label that as 1 meter, and we know the height is 3.6 meters. If I want to show where that height goes, it goes right from the bottom all the way to the top. That's going to be 3.6 meters. So now if this is the object that's being shipped, what's the longest side? Are all our units the same thing? Can you see that all of our units are in meters right now? So that's a good thing. We don't have to do any conversions. Our longest side now is the 3.6 meters. So if this red line is our longest side, our girth is going to be going around the object, and that's going to make a circle. And so if we're figuring out that distance around the object, we're going to need to use one of our circumference formulas. We can either use the one that is pi times the diameter, or we can use the one that is 2 times pi times the radius. What information do we have? Do we have the radius or do we have the diameter? This 1 meter is our diameter. Since we have that, I think it makes sense to use this formula. Pi times 1 is 3.14. So we have our girth measurement to be 3.14. That's the same as our circumference. So now if we want to figure out what the L plus G measurement would be, we can take our 3.6, which was our L, add our 3.14, and we get 6.74, and we always include our units in the end with our final answer to show that what we were talking about. So now there is a question for you to try, one with a circular object, one with a rectangular object. So I'll give you a couple of minutes to try those on your own. Did you get that the longest side was 200 centimeters? Again, here we look and we notice that 2 of our sides are in centimeters and 1 of them is in meters. So we need to change everything to the same unit. And you could change either the 2 meters. What I did is change the 2 meters to 200 centimeters. Or you could have changed everything to meters. But I thought it was less work to just change the 1. Now I'm working only in centimeters. My girth is going all the way around. So I go 65 plus 80 plus 65 plus 80 again. And that adds up to 290 centimeters. My length plus my girth then in total will be 200 plus the 290, making 490. Same thing in part B. I noticed that my diameter measurement at the top is in inches, but my height is in feet. So I changed my 2 feet to 24 inches. Again, there I decided it looks like it would be easier to change 2 feet to inches than it would be to change 14 inches to feet. You could have done it. 14 inches is 1.1666 repeated feet, but it's going to be easier to change everything to inches. So my longest side is the 24. My girth, I'm going to use pi times diameter to figure out the distance all the way around, because that's a circumference. Rounded, that comes out to 44 inches. So when I add them up, I get 68 inches for my formula.